We've had quite a few questions in the robotics class for how to set up a blueprint, so I've just did a quick review video of how to actually do that, and it's quite simple, really. Just depends on what type of blueprint that you're drawing. And so the first step to any blueprint that we do in class is that we do a border around here. I like to keep it about a finger's width from the edge, just so I have enough space to where we know that there's definitely a border on there. You don't want to have it too close to the edge, simply because someone else that's not you that reads your blueprint may think that it carries on into another sheet. So we leave this space here so they know it definitely ends where it shows. There's that. So we want to have a border around here. That is our first step. And then after we draw our border, we are then going to choose which side is the top. I usually pick up here where the holes are as my own style. You could pick down here, but this is just what I do. I'm going to write the word top, and that word will tell someone that looks at your blueprint that that is how the paper should be held. Then we're going to put a title for this one. The title is simply going to be blueprint setup reference, rather. I want you to notice that I'm writing in all capital letters. You must write in all capital letters on a blueprint so that your writing is easy to read. No matter how quickly you write, as long as it's in capital letters, someone's going to be able to read your writing. All right, so then at the bottom of your sheet down here is where we put our scale information. For our class, we're not going to be really concerned with scale itself, with measuring like each square equals an inch or something. So for our class, we're always going to write the phrase not drawn to scale. And what that'll tell somebody that looks at this is that this is just a reference. We don't need to measure anything, do any math. It's just a reference on what it's supposed to look like. Right? So these are the main things that you should have on your blueprint. You should always have a border, a title, the word top, not drawn to scale. When you get done with it, you're going to want to sign it and put a date on it. Right? But that's once you get done. I went ahead and did that ahead of time just so that you know that that's what needs to go there. And everyone's signature is different, so however you sign. For Project Lead the Way, they have you divide your blueprints into half and then quarters. If you're just doing two views or two different types of reference, you're going to want to just do a half, or if it's just a single, you don't need to put these borders in. But for the majority of our robotics work, especially for one with multi-view, you need to divide it into quarters. Make sure you have really good ruler placement, holding. This up a little higher so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to move it down. If you hold the ruler like this with the 3 fingers, it is not going to go anywhere. It's not going to move on that paper. I've noticed sometimes you guys hold it by 1. If you look, when I go to write my line, it moves. You've got to have 3 fingers on the ruler to keep it from moving someplace until you get really good. Right? Even for me, I still keep 3 fingers on the ruler. It's the most steady. So here we have our different views. This one's always going to be your 3D view. This one is your top view. Right here we have front view. And this one is right view. Now you may need to change these labels every once in a while, just depending on the build that you do. If your build looks exactly the same on the front as it does on the right, and you have something different on another side, you can substitute one of these in. But you always have to have your 3D view and top view. The top view is your bird's eye view about what something looks like. Your 3D view is what it would look like in real life. Instead of a flat object, it would be the 3D. Your front view is what it looks like, just as if you're looking right at the front of it. And then when you have your object, you then turn it to the right like this, and that would be the view that you draw for the right view. So each one of these will show you what you need for your blueprint. And we do have some examples of blueprints for you to look at so that you can see your different examples. So this one here, let me zoom out, is actually an example of one that we just had 2 views for. Notice it's drawn in half. We then have your windmill design challenge blueprint that you need to have with your 4 views. And if I were to show you a finished product for a blueprint, it doesn't relate to our class, but we do it in my other science class for 8th grade. We're doing bridges. Here is a finished blueprint with all the views. So what we can see here is that we have our top, which is just a bird's eye view. We then have a 3D front and right. Notice it has all the parts. No matter what class I'm in, I'm putting all the parts of the blueprint in the right spaces. I'm also writing in all capital letters. Everything is what it needs to be, and that is part of your grade. You have to have all the parts of a blueprint. So how does the grading work for our class? Each view is worth 20 points. You have 20, 40, 60, 80. 10 points for all the parts. 5 points for inking. Okay, and then 5 points just for overall neatness. And so that'll bring you to a total of 100 points. And then whenever I give you feedback, I will write on the blueprint in pen, a different colored pen, just to give you some pointers. Here's an example of one that's just all one view. Notice there's no divisions, but hey, we still have all of our parts to the blueprint. So if you have any questions on how to set up a blueprint, you can comment on this video, or you can ask me in class. I hope that this helps you in getting your blueprint set up right, and helps us keep the ball rolling for in class. And just realize that practice makes perfect, and eventually you'll be able to just zip right through these, and you won't need to reference how to set these up through time. That is our goal for the class, actually.